Ladies and gentlemen, friends and seekers of abundance, I stand before you today to share a truth, one that is as old as time itself, yet one that many are just beginning to realize. It is a truth that can transform your financial reality, your life, and your very perception of wealth. But this wealth shift isn't just about money. It's about the energy of prosperity flowing freely, unfettered by the limitations we once placed upon it. It's about a world where abundance is no longer scarce, but abundant for all who align themselves with its flow. What you believe about money, about wealth, and about your place in this world is the very key to the treasure chests you seek. It is not the outer world that determines your financial circumstances. It is your inner world. What you imagine, feel, and believe with absolute certainty, that is what the world reflects back to you. Imagine for a moment living in a world where abundance is a given, where wealth flows to you effortlessly, where the doors of opportunity open wide, and where prosperity is as natural as breathing. This is not a fantasy. This is the truth of the universe, waiting for you to step into it. It is not something you need to chase. The universe does not operate in terms of lack. It operates in terms of abundance. What you have to do is align yourself with it. You must tune your mind to the frequency of wealth, to the belief that prosperity is your natural state. The moment you do this, the floodgates of abundance will open, but there's a deeper law at play here, the law of assumption. You must assume the feeling of wealth now, not in some distant future. Feel yourself already in possession of the riches you desire. Live in that assumption, and your life will naturally conform to this new reality. The wealth shift is not something that happens later. It happens now. The moment you assume your desires are already fulfilled, you've entered the realm where they exist. Time, in fact, is not real. It is merely the space through which our desires are realized. The moment you fully embody the feeling of wealth, it is already yours. What may seem like time to you is only the gradual unfolding of your internal state of consciousness. As you shift your thoughts and assumptions, the outer world will follow. Remember, wealth is not just paper and coins. Money is energy, an energetic form that flows where there is harmony. If you are in harmony with the energy of abundance, you will naturally attract it. The more you align with the truth of your infinite potential, the more the universe will reflect that back to you in tangible ways. It is already here, in this very moment. As more people begin to awaken to their power of thought, as more individuals realize the vast potential within them, this collective shift in consciousness will lead to a collective shift in wealth. The truth is simple. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Change your inner world, change your thoughts, your assumptions, and your beliefs, and your outer world will transform accordingly. So step into the flow of abundance. Assume the feelings of wealth. Live as if prosperity is already yours. The world is waiting for you to claim what is already yours. A massive wealth shift is coming, but the question is, are you ready to receive it? Your thoughts are not mere fleeting events passing through your mind. They are the architects of your reality. Every thought, whether conscious or subconscious, shapes the world around you. Imagine your mind as a fertile garden where the seeds you plant grow into the experiences of your life. Thoughts are the seeds, and the world is the garden. When you plant thoughts of abundance, prosperity, and success, you are cultivating a reality that mirrors those same attributes. The power of thought is not a mystical or abstract concept. It's a fundamental law of the universe. Everything in existence, every material object, every person, and every circumstance was first a thought, a vision in someone's mind. This includes wealth, success, and opportunities. Wealth doesn't just appear through hard work alone. It comes from the seed of thought that aligns with your desires. But imagination plays a unique and crucial role in this process. Imagination is not mere daydreaming. It is the most powerful tool you have for transforming your reality. To imagine is to create in the non-physical realm, and everything that is physical first began as an idea, a mental image. When you picture yourself as wealthy, when you feel the emotions of success, your imagination is painting the canvas of your future. What you imagine, with enough focus and feeling, becomes your reality. Simply because your mind does not differentiate between what is imagined and what is real. As you imagine your ideal financial situation, your mind begins to adjust to the frequency of that imagined reality. The more vividly and emotionally you engage with these images, the more they align with the conditions of your life. It's not a matter of waiting for something outside of you to change. It's about using your imagination to shift your inner world, which in turn brings about changes in your outer world. Most people, however, tend to imagine limitations instead of possibilities. They imagine lack, struggle, and failure, and thus that's what they manifest. But the key to unlocking a wealth shift is to deliberately choose what you imagine, to feed your mind with thoughts of abundance, success, and freedom. The mind is like a magnet. It draws into your experience whatever it is attuned to. When your thoughts are aligned with wealth, the universe has no choice but to bring that wealth into your experience. The more you focus on this, the more your environment will mirror your inner shift. It's not enough to simply wish for wealth or to hope that it will come someday. You must actively imagine it as your current reality. The more you vividly imagine yourself already in possession of what you desire, the faster it will materialize in your life. The world around you, with all its vastness, complexity, and seeming randomness, is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the state of your consciousness. What you perceive as out there is in reality a projection of your inner beliefs, assumptions, and feelings. The conditions, circumstances, and experiences you face in life are not merely coincidental. They are the direct result of the thoughts and beliefs you hold in your mind. When you look at the world, you are not seeing it as it truly is, but rather as you are. The lens through which you view reality is shaped by your own inner state. If your consciousness is filled with fear, doubt, or scarcity, the world will reflect these thoughts back to you. You will encounter obstacles, challenges, and circumstances that reinforce those limiting beliefs. On the other hand, when your consciousness is centered on abundance, possibility, and opportunity, the world begins to mirror that vibration. You start to notice the opportunities that were always there, but hidden beneath your previous limiting beliefs. Everything you experience is colored by the consciousness you hold in the present moment. The relationships you attract, the career opportunities that present themselves, and the financial circumstances you find yourself in are not separate from you. They are extensions of your inner reality. If you struggle with feelings of inadequacy, for example, you will attract experiences and people that validate that belief. But the moment you shift your internal dialogue, your assumptions, and your expectations, the world around you begins to transform as well. Your environment, your job, your bank account, these are all expressions of the thoughts and beliefs you carry within you. What you see in your outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world. This is why some people can be surrounded by seeming chaos and yet remain calm, while others, with far more favorable conditions, are constantly overwhelmed. It's the consciousness they carry with them that dictates their experience. The world is not an external force acting upon you, but rather a dynamic, fluid reflection of the consciousness you choose to cultivate. You are not a passive observer in this world. You are an active creator. By shifting your consciousness, changing your beliefs, your assumptions, and your focus, you can change what you experience. You are the painter, and the world is your canvas. Every stroke of thought you make, every mental image you hold, and every belief you embody creates the picture of your reality. In the same way that a clear lens allows for a sharp, focused image, when your consciousness is clear, aligned, and positive, the world sharpens into a reflection of clarity, abundance, and joy. The people you meet, the opportunities that unfold, and the resources you attract are all aligned with your internal state. And just as the painter refines their technique over time, you can refine your thoughts and consciousness to continually improve the quality of what you manifest. Your relationship with the world is not one of separation, it is one of unity. The external world is an extension of the thoughts you carry, and by changing your inner world, you change the very fabric of your reality. When you understand this, you'll realize the incredible power you have to shape your life. You are not at the mercy of external forces. You are the creator, the master of your experience. The world exists as it does because of how you see it. And the moment you change the way you see it, the world must shift in kind. Abundance is not something that needs to be created or earned. It is the natural state of the universe, and by extension, your natural state as well. The universe, in its vastness and complexity, is built upon the principle of abundance. From the smallest grain of sand to the stars in the sky, there is no limit to the resources, opportunities, and possibilities that are available to us. We are surrounded by infinite potential, and that same potential flows within us. It is not something we have to strive for. It is something we must allow ourselves to realize and embrace. The idea of lack, scarcity, or limitation is a human construct, a product of conditioning, beliefs, and perceptions passed down through generations. But at its core, the universe does not operate on a principle of lack. Nature itself is a perfect example of abundance. Look at the oceans teeming with life, the trees producing endless fruit, and the air continually replenished with oxygen. The cycles of nature are not defined by scarcity. They are an expression of the abundance that exists in all things. Every seed contains the potential to become an entire forest, and every grain of sand carries the essence of countless others. You, as a human being, are no different. Abundance is not something that is out there waiting to be found. It is within you. It is part of your very being, part of the essence that makes you who you are. When you align yourself with this natural state of abundance, you tap into a limitless reservoir of resources, opportunities, and wealth. It is not about trying to create abundance from a place of need or desperation. It is about realizing that abundance is already here, all around you, and that your task is to open yourself up to it. The feeling of abundance is a state of mind, a way of being, rather than something you chase after. When you live with the understanding that there is more than enough love, more than enough wealth, more than enough opportunity, you begin to see the world differently. You stop looking at the world as a place of limitation and start recognizing the endless possibilities that surround you. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you focus on what you have, and in doing so, you attract even more of it. When you truly understand that abundance is your birthright, you stop competing for resources or opportunities because you recognize that there is an infinite flow available to you. It's like a river that constantly replenishes itself. No matter how much water flows, it never runs dry. The more you embrace the truth of abundance, the more you open yourself to the flow of wealth, prosperity, and success. The reason so many people struggle with scarcity is because they are disconnected from this natural state. They have been taught to believe that wealth is limited, that success is for a select few, and that resources are finite. This belief creates a self-imposed limitation, causing people to live in fear, to hold on tightly to what they have, and to feel as though they are constantly fighting for their share. But the truth is, when you align yourself with the flow of abundance, you stop fighting for what is already yours. You begin to flow with it rather than against it. Abundance is not just about material wealth, though it certainly includes that. It is about an abundance of love, health, creativity, opportunities, and joy. It is about living in harmony with the natural flow of life. When you realize that abundance is already here, that it is your natural state, you begin to see yourself as a conduit for that abundance. It flows through you, and as you give, you receive. This cycle of giving and receiving is the very essence of abundance. Once you understand this principle, the concept of scarcity loses its power over you. It no longer has the ability to dictate your decisions or actions. You move through life with a sense of trust, knowing that everything you need is already within reach. And in doing so, you create the conditions for even more abundance to flow into your life. When you live in the consciousness of abundance, you are not just attracting wealth, you are attracting everything that is good, true, and fulfilling in life. Abundance is not something you must strive for. It is simply something you must align with. And when you do, the universe will respond in kind. Faith and belief are the unseen forces that govern the manifestation of all things in our lives. They are the invisible threads that connect the present to the future, bridging the gap between the physical world and the world of possibilities. In a sense, faith is the conviction that something is true, even before it has made its way into your tangible reality. It is not about waiting for external evidence to prove your desires. It is about knowing with absolute certainty that what you believe is already on its way to you. Belief is the foundation upon which your reality is built. Every experience you have, every success or failure you encounter is rooted in the beliefs you hold deep within. Your beliefs are like filters through which you perceive the world, and they determine how you interact with it. If you believe that success is out of reach, or that wealth is reserved for others, that belief will be mirrored back to you by the experiences you have. On the other hand, if you cultivate beliefs of abundance, possibility, and success, the world will begin to reflect those same truths. Faith is what allows you to navigate the unknown. It is the trust that even when circumstances seem uncertain or challenging, the outcome will align with your deepest desires. It's the quiet knowing that things are always working in your favor, even when it doesn't seem like it in the moment. Faith doesn't require you to see the path ahead clearly. It simply asks that you trust in the process and believe that what you seek is already on its way. Faith is the belief that your desires are not only possible, but are inevitable. It's the confident expectation that, regardless of current appearances, the universe is always moving in the direction of your greatest good. When you have faith in yourself and in the laws of the universe, you surrender to the flow of life. You stop fighting against the current, trying to force things to happen. Instead, you trust that everything is unfolding as it should. You understand that there is a divine timing at play and that your desires are being prepared for you at the perfect moment. When you trust in this process, the need for struggle and effort diminishes. Faith helps you release resistance, and in that release, you open yourself up to receive. Belief is equally powerful. It shapes the lens through which you interpret every event, every opportunity, and every challenge. What you believe about yourself and your worth will directly affect the experiences that come your way. If you believe you are deserving of wealth, success, and happiness, you naturally open yourself up to opportunities that align with those beliefs. If you hold the belief that you must work endlessly or sacrifice in order to be successful, then that too will be reflected in your experience. Your beliefs create the conditions for your life. The beauty of belief is that it can be shifted. It's not set in stone. It is fluid and malleable. If you find that your current beliefs are limiting you, you have the power to change them. You can choose new beliefs that serve your highest potential. You can choose to believe that abundance is your birthright, that success is inevitable, and that the universe supports your every endeavor. As you change your beliefs, you begin to notice a shift in the world around you. Opportunities appear where once there were none, and the obstacles that seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve. Faith and belief are the glue that holds the process of manifestation together. Without them, there can be no true creation. They are the energy that powers your intentions, allowing them to move from the realm of thought into the realm of reality. The law of attraction is not just about positive thinking. It's about believing with unwavering certainty that your desires are not only possible, but already on their way. When you pair belief with faith, you unlock the door to a world of unlimited possibilities. Because your thoughts, backed by your faith, will always find a way to become your reality. In essence, faith and belief are not just passive states of mind, they are active forces that shape the world around you. When you believe with conviction that your dreams are already on their way, you begin to vibrate in harmony with those desires. The universe, in turn, responds to this vibration, bringing the necessary circumstances and opportunities into your experience. It is your belief in the unseen that makes the unseen visible. Without faith and belief, the world would remain stagnant, locked in the prison of doubt and fear. But with them, anything is possible, and every desire becomes a step closer to its inevitable manifestation. Imagination is far more than just a playful or creative mental exercise. It is the primary mechanism by which all things are brought into existence. The mind, with its limitless capacity to envision and create, is the very tool that bridges the gap between the physical world and the realm of wealth. Imagination allows you to step outside of your current circumstances and visualize a reality where wealth and abundance are already present. In doing so, it sets the stage for that reality to materialize in the physical world. When you imagine yourself living a life of prosperity, feeling the emotions of wealth, and experiencing the freedom that comes with it, you are not merely daydreaming. You are creating a blueprint for your future, a mental image that, when held with enough focus and belief, begins to take form in the world around you. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. To your subconscious mind, the imagined scenario is as real as the physical one, and it begins to work to bring that imagined reality into fruition. This process is not just about visualizing wealth. It is about embodying the emotions and feelings that come with it. Wealth is not just a number in your bank account or a pile of material possessions. It is a state of being, an energy that you align with. The more vividly and emotionally you engage with the image of wealth in your mind, the more your subconscious accepts this image as truth. When your subconscious mind accepts something as truth, it aligns your actions, thoughts, and circumstances with that truth. You begin to think, speak, and act as someone who is already wealthy, and the world starts to reflect that back to you. Imagination is a bridge because it transcends the limitations of time and space. It allows you to step into a future where your desires are already fulfilled and experience it as if it is happening now. This is crucial because the feeling of having wealth is what makes it real. Wealth isn't something that exists outside of you. It is a state of mind that attracts the necessary conditions for it to manifest. When you imagine yourself in the midst of wealth, surrounded by abundance, you're activating the law of attraction. Your thoughts and feelings create a vibration that pulls those same circumstances into your life. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to bypass current limitations. Right now, you may not have the resources or opportunities you desire, but through imagination, you can enter a mental space where those things already exist. In this space, there are no obstacles. There is no lack. There is only the reality you create through your thoughts and emotions. As you continuously return to this mental space, your subconscious begins to work on your behalf, drawing opportunities and people into your life that align with the wealth and success you have been visualizing. Imagination, however, requires more than just idle fantasy. It demands that you fully immerse yourself in the experience. It's not enough to simply think about wealth for a few moments. You must live it, breathe it, and feel it in every cell of your being. The mind works in images and feelings. The more sensory rich your mental image of wealth is, the more detailed, vibrant, and emotionally charged it becomes. The more quickly it will move from the realm of imagination into physical reality. For example, imagine walking into your dream home. Feel the texture of the walls, the warmth of the sunlight streaming through the windows, and the peace and satisfaction of being exactly where you want to be. See yourself interacting with the people you admire, living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of, and feeling the deep sense of fulfillment and gratitude that accompanies such abundance. In doing this, you are not merely dreaming. You are planting the seeds of your future in the soil of your subconscious mind. As you continue to nurture this mental image, the circumstances necessary to bring it into being will begin to manifest. Your imagination is the mold from which your wealth takes shape. Just as an artist starts with a blank canvas, you start with the empty space of your mind. And it is through the power of imagination that you create the masterpiece of your life. The more you use your imagination to visualize wealth, success, and freedom, the more your life begins to mirror those mental images. The key is to persistently hold that vision, even when external circumstances may suggest otherwise. Imagination is also the vehicle through which you can overcome fear and doubt. When negative thoughts or limiting beliefs arise, your imagination can serve as a tool for transformation. By consciously redirecting your thoughts towards what you want, towards the vision of wealth you have already created, you shift your focus from the obstacles to the possibilities. The more you imagine success, the less room there is for fear or scarcity to take root. Your imagination becomes a sanctuary where only the truth of your desired wealth exists. The beauty of imagination is that it is not bound by physical limitations. You don't need to wait for the right time or for the right circumstances to align. Through imagination, you can create the wealth you desire right now. The conditions of your life will begin to shift, but the shift starts within. Imagination is your direct connection to the universe's infinite creative potential, and when you use it intentionally, you create a reality that reflects the abundance you have envisioned. The more you engage with this inner world of wealth, the more that wealth will appear in your outer world, as though it was always destined to be there. One of the most profound and yet simplest laws of the universe, one that governs how we experience reality. It states that what you assume to be true with absolute conviction becomes your reality. It is not what you wish for, not what you desire in a superficial sense, but what you assume with unwavering belief will inevitably come to pass. This law works with the power of your subconscious mind, which accepts as truth whatever you consistently assume, regardless of external circumstances. The assumption is not simply about making a mental wish or repeating affirmations mindlessly. It is about fully embodying the belief that the thing you desire is already yours. To assume something is to live in the reality of it, to think, feel, and act as though it has already been fulfilled. The mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined, so the moment you assume that you are wealthy, successful, loved, or healthy, your subconscious mind starts to create that reality for you. It becomes a part of your internal world, and as your inner world shifts, your outer world follows suit. This principle taps into the immense power of belief. When you assume something, you take it as fact, not as a possibility. If you assume that wealth is your natural state, you stop doubting your ability to acquire it, and the universe responds accordingly. The key here is that assumption is not something that depends on external proof or evidence. It is independent of current circumstances or past experiences. No matter how your life looks at the moment, if you assume that your desires are already fulfilled, you are setting in motion the forces that will bring those desires into your reality. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is its ability to work instantly. Unlike the idea that wealth or success takes time to manifest, assumption allows you to shift your reality in an instant. The moment you assume that you are successful, wealthy, or powerful, your mind starts to search for ways to bring that assumption to life. It works quickly because your subconscious is always working to bring you in alignment with what you believe is true. This means that the assumption of success is not something that will take years to achieve. It is something that can be realized now because your inner world has already accepted it as reality. To assume wealth, for example, is to imagine yourself already in possession of it. It's not a matter of visualizing it as something you will have in the future. It is about seeing and feeling it as yours right now. When you feel wealthy, when you feel the emotions of wealth as though you are living it in the present moment, your mind begins to reprogram itself, and external circumstances start to align with this new internal assumption. This is how people manifest incredible success seemingly overnight. They simply assumed it long before the evidence appeared. Another important aspect of the law of assumption is that it eliminates doubt. Doubt is the killer of manifestation, and when you assume that your desires are already in place, you no longer entertain the thought of lack or failure. It's not about hoping or wishing, it's about knowing. Assumption requires full acceptance that what you seek is already yours, and when you embody this knowing, your world starts to reflect it. The feeling of certainty and conviction paired with assumption is the engine that drives the manifestation process. This law also aligns perfectly with the concept of living as if. To live as if is to assume the reality you desire as though it is already here. When you assume success, you walk, talk, and think as a successful person would. When you assume wealth, you begin to make decisions and take actions as someone who has already achieved financial freedom. The moment you live in alignment with the assumption, the world has no choice but to conform. The assumptions you carry are like magnets, attracting the circumstances, people, and opportunities that reflect your inner state. What makes this law so powerful is its simplicity. You don't need to struggle, you don't need to beg, and you certainly don't need to work yourself into exhaustion. You simply need to assume. When you assume something, you do not question it. And because your subconscious mind works with the assumption you've made, it finds ways to bring that assumption into your life. There is no space for second guessing, no need for elaborate strategies or lengthy timelines. The moment you assume, your internal world shifts, and the external world begins to mirror that shift. The law of assumption also works in every area of life, whether it's wealth, relationships, health, or happiness. The assumption that you are worthy of love, for example, will draw loving relationships into your life. The assumption that you are healthy will bring you vitality and well-being. What you assume about yourself, about the world, and about your place in it becomes your experience. The universe does not question the validity of your assumptions. It simply delivers based on the energy you emit. So, if you assume that you are deserving of success, wealth, and joy, you will receive those things because your mind is aligned with them. The law of assumption is a law of trust. It's the trust that the universe is always working with you, not against you. It's the trust that everything you desire is already in your grasp, and that your assumptions about yourself and the world around you will bring those desires into your reality. By assuming what you want to be true, and by living in that assumption, you are effectively declaring that the universe will conspire to make it so. And because the universe has no choice but to respond to your assumptions, the reality you once imagined will slowly but surely unfold before you. Remember that you are not a passive observer of your life. You are the creator. The universe, with all its infinite potential, is waiting for you to step into your power and assume the life you desire. The law of assumption is not just a theory. It is a practical, powerful tool that, when applied with conviction, can transform every aspect of your existence. Your assumptions are the blueprint of your reality, and the moment you begin to assume that abundance, success, and happiness are your natural states, the universe begins to rearrange itself to align with your new inner truth. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the unwavering belief that everything you desire is already yours. When you fully embrace this, without hesitation or doubt, your world will shift in ways you could never have imagined. You do not need to fight for what is rightfully yours. You only need to assume that it is already yours and allow the universe to bring it to you in its own perfect timing. So take a moment to ask yourself, what are you assuming about your life right now? Are you assuming wealth, success, love, and happiness? Or are you still living in the shadow of doubt, fear, and limitation? The choice is yours. And with it, the power to shape your reality is in your hands. Assume your greatness, assume your wealth, assume your success, and watch as the world transforms to reflect the magnificent life you have already created in your mind. The law of assumption is not just a law of the universe, it is the law of you. The moment you assume your desires are already fulfilled, they are on their way because you've already made it so. Believe it, claim it, live it, because You are destined for greatness, and it starts with your assumptions.